Hi and welcome to Annalise Maths. Today we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting fractions. When we're adding and subtracting fractions that have the same denominator, so have the same number on the bottom, our denominator remains the same and we just add the numerators or subtract the numerators. So when our denominators are both the same on our fractions, we just add the numerators or subtract the numerators. So for example, 2/8 plus 3/8 gives us 5/8. Our denominator remains the same. 2 plus 3 is 5. Same with subtraction. 8/10 minus 3/10 gives me 5/10. So our denominator remains the same. Subtract the numerators. 8 minus 3 is 5. When we're adding and subtracting fractions with different denominators, the first thing we need to do is turn them into equivalent fractions. You can check out my video on order and compare fractions to look at equivalent fractions if you need to. Once we've got them as the same denominator, then as before, we just add or subtract across. So let's have a look at some examples of those. So firstly, if I've got 2/3 plus 1/5, the first thing I need to do is make these into equivalent fractions. I can't add or subtract them the way they are at the moment. I need them to be equivalent fractions. So I need to figure out what I can make both of these. So if I think of my times tables of my 3 and my 5s, 15 is the first number that will divide by both 3 and 5. So I'm going to turn them both into 15ths first. So 2/3, let's make that into 15ths. When making equivalent fractions, whatever I've done to the denominator, I need to do exactly the same to the numerator. So to get 3 to be a 5, I've multiplied it by 5. So I do the same to the top. 2 times 5 is 10. So 2/3 is equivalent to 10/15ths. Now I need to do the same to the other fraction. I need to make it so that it's 15ths. So 5 times 3 is 15. So whatever I do to the bottom, I do the same to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. So now I've got 10/15ths plus 3/15ths. So now I've got them as equivalent fractions. I can just add the top, leave the bottom alone. So 2/3 plus 1/5 gives me 13/15ths. Let's have a look at a subtraction question. So I've got 1/3 to take away 3/11ths. Now again, I need to make them so they've got equivalent fractions. So what number will divide by both 11 and 3? Because I've only got two numbers, sometimes an easy way to do it is what's 3 times 11? It's 33. So I know that 33 will divide by both 3 and 11. So what have I done to this side? So to get a 3 to be a 33, I've multiplied it by 11. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do the same to the top. So 1 times 11 is 11. So 1/3 is equivalent to 11/33s. Need to do the same on this side. So what have I done to my 11 to get a 33? I've times it by 3. Whatever I do to the top, I do the same to the bottom. So 2 times 3 is 6. So now I've got 11/33s, take away 6/33s. So my bottom remains the same and I just subtract the top. 11 take away 6 gives me 5. So it's 5/33s. Okay, I'd like you to pause the tape and give these 4 a go for me, please. Also simplify your answers. Okay, let's have a look at those. So we should have ended up with 9/10ths, 11/14ths, 5/6ths and 2/15ths. Let's see what this could look like in an exam situation. So here's a level 2 question worth 3 marks. Pause it and give these a go for me, please. Okay, so on this one, we've got Gareth selling hot drinks and he sells tea, coffee and hot chocolate. We know 2/5 of his sales were tea and 1/3 of his sales were coffee, and we need to work out what hot chocolate he sold. So to work out the tea and the coffee, I need to add 2/5 to 1/3. So I need to do 2/5 plus 1/3 to work out his tea and his coffee. Now I can't add them because they're different denominators, so I'm going to need to turn them into equivalent fractions. So let's turn them into 15ths. because 5 times 3 is 15, so I know that number would work. So on this side, to turn a 5 into a 15, I've times it by 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do the same to the top. 2 times 3 is 6. Same on this side, I've times it by 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Do the same to the top. 1 times 5 is 5. So I know it's 6 fifteenths plus 5 fifteenths, which will give me 11 fifteenths. So I know the tea and coffee he sold is 11 fifteenths. For making an attempt to get a common denominator with these, that will get me mark number 1 on this question. Now I know his total sales were 11 of that day. Take away 11 fifteenths is going to give me his hot chocolate. So I know his total sales, take away 11 fifteenths. Now don't forget that a whole is when our numerator and our denominator are the same. So basically his whole day was 15 fifteenths and his tea and coffee was 11 fifteenths. So by working out the difference between those, I'm working out his hot chocolate sales. So 15 fifteenths take away 11 fifteenths. By knowing this, just by writing either one of these, that was mark number 2, by knowing that you had to do a subtraction. And my final answer of 4 fifteenths gives me mark number 3. So if you got 4 fifteenths for this, well done, you got all 3 marks on this question. So thank you for watching this video. Any questions, please pop it in the comments. Best of luck with your studies and please like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.